Hey, I'd like to call to order the Tuesday, November 11th Common Council meeting. We'll start with call to order and then the roll call. Joanne.
Mayor Kim Smith,
I'm here.
Jim Benash,
Here.
Kathy Loendorf. Here. Stephen Knott,
Here.
Mike Milky,
Here.
Larry Jurassic,
Here.
Diane Wolf. Here.
All right, next order of on the next item on the agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Next item is the rules of the City of Onalaska Common Council. This is a harassment-free forum. City councils and subcommittee meetings shall be conducted in a courteous manner. Citizens, council, and committee members shall be allowed to state their positions in an atmosphere free of slander, obscene remarks, or threats of violence. Sufficient warnings may be given by the sergeant at arms or chair at any time during the remarks. In the event that any individual shall violate the rules of decorum as set forth, such person may then be cut off from comment or debate. Next is public input. Public input will be limited to 3 minutes per individual. If you have public input, please state your name and your address. First call for public input. Second call for public input. Do we have anyone online? Okay. Third and final call for public input. Public input is closed. Next is the report from the mayor, Mayor Smith.
Yeah, thank you for that, Alder Knott. Under item A, Heart Safe Community Designation, I'd like to ask our Assistant Fire Chief, Jeremy Southworth, to come and give us a report. Thank you, Jeremy.
Thank you. Just over 2 years ago, I set the goal.
Try it again. You're not on. There you go.
Just over 2 years ago, I set a goal for the city of Onalaska to become a heart safe. One. Perfect. Anywho, about 2 years ago, I set the goal for the city of Onalaska to achieve this heart safe community designation, which establishes a proactive, multi-layered, community-based program focused on collaboration with our local and community members to develop strategies and tactics for citizens. On October 28th, I had the opportunity to present to the citizens CPR Foundation, outlining what the city of Onalaska has done to meet the 13 elements required to receive. Some of those things were strategically sophisticated public teaching at large, certified campaign are ensuring development guidance all night. Using done for the rest, collecting and using data from our EMS calls to guide change in our protocol and ensuring that our EMS. At the end of the presentation, so after we did receive the by the Heart Safe community, and it's a testament to not only our organization, who's the lead organization, but the community itself, and through collaboration, hospital, internally, but anyone's YMCA. All of our shows that it's continuing.
Thank you. Thank you for your hard work. Thank you. Mayor Smith again.
Yes, and thank you for that. The audio was cutting out, so I wasn't able to hear a lot of the presentation, but I was there when Jeremy presented to the board, and they really have put so much work into this over a long period of time. It's just an example of the professional fire department we have that is doing so much for our community all the time. So it's great to see them recognized in this way. But not just the recognition for the fire department, but what they're doing for our community members and so many people whose lives will be saved because of this. So thank you. Thank you for the team for doing that. Item B is discussion and possible action regarding the shared fire services with the Village of Holmen and the Town of Holland. I'm going to turn this over to Rick first, and then as needed, Chief Fleddy can tune in, but I'm going to turn this over to them just because I'm virtual, so it'll be easier. Go ahead, Rick.
Great. Thank you, Mayor. Excuse me. As you may recall, this conversation has come before you a couple of times so far. There have been some conversation, like the mics are really loud today. There's been some conversations between the Village of Holmen, Town of Holland, Town of Onalaska, and the City of Onalaska in regards to looking at some form of shared fire services, whether that be contractual, whether that be a combination, whatever the case might be. So we've had a number of different conversations. I've reported to this council a couple of different times so far. At our last conversation, the conversation kind of went towards the route of, we've talked about as many things as we probably can at this point in time. And right now, the kind of consensus is that maybe we need some kind of a consultant to come and help us take a look at what are some options. The reason that that came up was because there were two fire departments down near the Milwaukee area that did hire a consultant and ended up combining services. It was a long process, but we were able to review the report, and the information in the report is kind of the information we're looking for. You know, we just don't know exactly what our options are at this point in time. The reason I'm coming before the council tonight in regards to this is each of the municipalities agreed to go back to their respective councils and boards and talk about whether or not this is of interest. I'm not looking for approval, but if there is interest in looking at the possibility of hiring a consultant. If boards and councils are interested in doing this, we'll have some further conversation regarding what that cost might be, who that consultant might be, those kinds of things. And then we will come back and ask for actual funding if that is the direction that each municipality wants to go. Part of the reason we thought to do this was the best way to go is if a municipality or two decides that they don't want to pursue this any further, that could certainly change the direction of what the conversations are looking like. So what I'm here asking for tonight from the council is just, is there interest from the council into pursuing this with further conversations? And before any consultant is ever hired or contract signed, there would be some further conversation with this council and funding request would come forward. So I can take any questions in regards to any other conversations that might have been had, but that's kind of the gist of where we're at right now.
Anyone have comment? Jim?
Since you've mentioned that you've already exhausted what you think you can talk about, and you know that on the east side of the state, there's been a combination of fire departments, what could a consultant bring that you don't already know?
So when we took a look at the report that this one consultant did, so here are some examples, and Chief Fleddy can chime in here as well too. So for example, right now, the only municipality that has, for example, a human resources department or a legal department that is on staff is the City of Onalaska. So what would that look like if there was some kind of a shared service when it comes to these other municipalities? Is doing a contract more beneficial than combining actual departments? So there are a number of areas where we can talk about them. We just don't know which one is best for us, for the four of us, in which direction to go. And so this consultant, because they have familiarity with having done this and giving recommendations based on what the information is out there, that this would help guide through whatever the next steps might be, if that's the route we want to go. What we'd be looking for this consultant to do is come back with some information saying, and this is just my thinking, here are some options that these municipalities might be able to do. Then the municipalities could take a look at and decide, are any of these options viable for us? And if so, which direction do we want to go? I'll let Chief Fleddy add to that as well.
Go ahead, Chief.
We will
what I was gonna say as well, but really the study that was done down in,
Not hearing you very well.
how many-
Mic issue.
check, 1, 2. I am. Okay. Is that better?
Oh, yeah.
Here we go.
All right, perfect. I guess really that study done down in eastern Wisconsin, really those two municipalities were of equal size. Number of personnel were equal, call volume was equal, all that was equal. So for those two to combine is really a whole lot different than what we would be looking at doing between our four municipalities. And the fact that Holman has a fire department, we have a fire department, they run about half as many calls as we do. We have way more equipment than they do. Town of Holland, Town of Onalaska don't have any fire equipment. So really ours is way more complex trying to combine those four than what happened down in West Allis and Wauwatosa. So it's really kind of an apples to oranges comparison.
Go ahead, Mike.
Thank you, Chair.
Thanks, Chief.
Chief, just a quick question for you while you're up there. I guess is this something that if we did something like this and this were to come to fruition, that the second fire department that we're potentially looking at would still be like in the mix and this would be maybe built in a different location? Or I guess, is that part of this as well?
You mean the second fire station or second fire department?
Sorry, the second fire
No,
station.
no worries. Just want to clarify. Yeah, so again, that's the whole issue of complexity, right? So that one in eastern Wisconsin between West Allis and Wauwatosa, they pretty much had their station set. Nothing's really going to change with that. They might add one more. But what we're looking at is Holman's currently in the process of adding a fire station. We're looking at adding a second fire station. So really, yeah, this whole thing, that a station somewhere in the middle is definitely needed. If we combine, you might need two in the middle because Holman's looking to push further north. So there's just a lot of variables, and I really think that's where the consultant could help us if that's something we're interested in looking at. Does that
Okay.
answer your question?
Yeah, yeah. It was just something that kind of came to mind when we're talking about this. And, you know, obviously we had that big report last year. And so I'm just curious kind of how that would all mix together. But, and is this something that, you know, that you'd be very interested in?
Yes. I mean, we have to have all four municipalities on board, right? I really think, you know, we need the consultant's advice to figure out if this is going to work because they're alluded to this before. There's just so many variables out there. I mean, could this work? Yes. Is it a bit of a gamble? Maybe. You know, I don't know that. I want more information, put it that way.
Okay, thank you.
Rick.
Thank you. And I just also wanted to add to the question that you had asked as well. Since we have done our own study here in the city of Onalaska and Holman has also done a study, I think that that is going to be very beneficial for the consultant looking at those two studies and combining and figuring out if this is going to work, this might be the best way to do it. So just wanted to throw that in there as well.
Thank you.
I'm assuming with all four of these communities looking at this together, that we'd be looking at some type of cost sharing, potentially even starting with this contractor. How that would shake out with the different size communities you'd have to work out amongst each other. But I assume you're already looking at that.
Correct. Yep. There was talk that each municipality would contribute towards whatever that cost would be.
Right.
We're gathering information to what that cost ultimately could be and then how that's going to be divided up.
Okay.
I- Can I chime in
Go ahead,
here?
Mike.
Yeah, I just have one more thing. Was it the town of Holland that did that? Was there like a grant or something they had just recently applied for? Am I remembering that correctly?
Yeah, you're correct.
Okay.
They did a basically kind of a feasibility study, like what could this look like?
Okay.
We're looking at taking that possibly a step further in, you know, how many personnel do we need? You know, how many apparatus do we need? All that stuff.
Okay.
How is it governed? All that.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you.
Yes, go ahead, Larry.
Yeah, is there any idea on the timeline that you're looking at? Is this a year-long study or?
That I don't know. I want to say, I know Wauwatosa's fire chief. And I want to say it was earlier this year that they applied for the study and they just got it back. So it was probably a half year, 3/4 of a year long.
Yeah.
In talking to the chief, they actually started looking at this relatively seriously in 2023. And he doesn't expect this to be done until 2028 or 2029 by the time they get all this information compiled and get this looked at and make sure everybody's on board.
Yeah, first response is very complex. And yeah, we want to make sure we do this right for sure. For discussion, I guess I personally think that we should probably move forward and looking at this because the communities around us are growing. We're obviously starting to reach max capacity, I guess, with our current land mass. But we do have the largest of the fire departments out of all of them by far. We just need to figure out how this would all shake out and whether or not it even makes sense. But the future does change, and I think we should be looking at it personally. I don't think we're looking at a decision for a contractor right now because that would have to go out for RFP. There's discussions on cost sharing that would have to take place before that comes to the Common Council. I think you're just looking for guidance right now, correct?
That is correct, yes.
Yeah. So does anyone have a countervailing view that they should continue to move forward with this? Larry?
Time we get information about something before we spend money on it. That's great.
Oh, it has to come to us before we spend money.
Yep.
We're not committing any dollars to this at this point. It's just discussion and direction. All right. Do you have what you need?
I have what I need. We will have another meeting and then I'll come back when the time's right.
Okay, thank you. All right, thank you, Mayor. Next, we have recommendations for approval and or possible action from the following committees, commissions, boards, and officials. All items listed under the consent agenda are considered routine and will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a council member requests removal, in which event the item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered in the order of business in the non-consent agenda. Does anyone wish to remove an item from the consent agenda? Okay, I will entertain a motion on the consent agenda.
I'll move to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Motion to approve by Mike, seconded by Larry. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. We now move on to the non-consent agenda. Number 7 is a recap of items pulled from the consent agenda. There were none, so we move on to number 8. Finance Committee. Mike.
Thank you, Chair. Item 8A is the vouchers. The following is a list of the monies expended since the last common council meeting dated October 14th, 2025. That total being $2,465,607.77. And I will move to approve.
Second.
Motion to approve vouchers by Mike, seconded by Larry. Any discussion? Yes, Mike, go ahead.
Sabrina, did you want to add anything since we didn't meet with finance this week on this?
Sure. So one thing that, just a heads up that is changed slightly, since the way we used to run, the vouchers with our new ERP system, the actual health insurance cost is actually, it gets added in the payroll withholdings total. So if that number looks larger to you, if anybody nerds out and reads these, every month, that number is larger just because the health insurance premium is now included in the check payments for payroll. And then the check payments for regular AP is lower because of the health insurance change. But otherwise, I don't really have anything else to note. This is a pretty average month when it comes to payments. So.
Thank you.
You have the next item as well.
All right.
We need to vote.
Need to vote on that.
What's that?
We need to take a vote.
Oh, of course we do. I'm sorry. Yeah. I'll move to approve. No, we already did that.
We have a motion.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes.
All right. Thank you, Chair. On to item 8B. This is the 2025 general fund financials, and I'll hand that over to Sabrina.
Thank you. We did not have an A&F committee meeting this month, so I'll go over the financials that start on page 2 of your packets. This is the revenue and expense summary for the general fund. Again, starting on page 2, but if I can draw your attention to page 3 to look at our total revenues through September 30th of 2025. Our total revenues were $11,148,783.56, of which we have 7.73% remaining to hit our total budgeted revenues. As of September 30th of 2024, we had 10.68% remaining. So we're actually slightly ahead of where we were in 2024. Then if I can draw your attention, I believe it's page 17, to take a look at our total expenditures. It is on page 17. Through September 30th of 2025, our total expenditures are $8,423,414.88, of which we have 30.29% remaining of our total budgeted expenditures. As of September 30th of 2024, we had 32.27%. So pretty close to where we were in 2024. Again, we approved after the budget the insurance holidays, so that will make up some of the increase in expenses for 2025. On page 18 is the balance sheet report for the general fund. Then on page 20 is the revenue and expense summary for the Omni Center. As of September, I should stop. You have to approve general before I move on. Sorry, I'm just on a roll.
I'll move to approve the 2025 general fund financials.
Second.
Move to approve by Mike, seconded by Larry. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Administrative Committee, and that would be me.
You gotta do the.
Oh, gosh, man, I'm
Right.
losing my mind.
So that last one, sorry, for me will be item 8C, the 2025 Omni Center financials, and I'll once again pass over to Sabrina.
Thank you. Sorry about that. Next on page 20 is the Omni Center revenue and expense summary. Through September 30th of 2025, the Omni Centers had $617,169.25, of which we have 23.64% remaining to hit our total budgeted revenues for the year. One thing that is not in here yet is the operating transfer for room tax. I'm very close to getting that final number together. It'll likely be over $40,000, so we will have an additional $40,000 to report next month. So feeling good where we're at in regards to revenues. Then in regards to expenses on page 21, through September 30th of 2025, we've spent $623,654.99, of which we have 23.8% remaining of our total budgeted expenditures. As of September 30th of 2024, we were at 21.26%. Then on page 22 is the balance sheet for the Omni Center.
All right, thank you. I will go ahead and move to approve the 2025 Omni Center financials.
Second.
Move to approve by Mike, seconded by Kathy. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Now we're on administrative, which is me. Starting with Amy with the Human Resources update.
Good evening. As you can see before you, we are currently, knock on wood, just for a few more weeks, fully staffed with our regular employees. We have 118 positions filled at the moment. We do have a couple of recruitments in process. Police officer, this was it as a result of overfilling because of our extended approved absences in our police department right now and the number of employees that we have eligible to retire. So we're starting to get ahead of that curve to get ready for that next police recruit academy. And then also our maintenance worker, we do have a retirement that has been announced in our public works department. So we're starting to get ready for that job posting as well.
Thank you. Okay, next is approval of a secondhand jewelry dealer application for Ned Tyne LLC. Slice Jewelry and Gold located at 1125 Main Street, Suite 180 on Alaska. This is before us on the non-consent agenda because the administrative committee did not meet and we did not have a chance to approve this. I will go ahead and move to approve.
Second.
Motion to approve by myself, seconded by Larry. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Next is Board of Public Works. Diane.
Thank you. Under Board of Public Works 10A, approval of 2026 capital improvements projects budget, including approval of projects in 2027 that relate to mortgage, revenue, bonding, and 2026. Board of Public Works did meet a week ago tonight, and we did pass the spreadsheet that's in your packet this evening, titled 2026 Capital Improvements Projects dash proposed. I will move to approve that list as per the packet.
Second. Motion to approve by Dan, seconded by myself. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes.
Next item under Board of Public Works 10B, approval of well number 9 engineering design services for PFAS. I learned after last week not to try to pronounce the two words. PFAS treatment to short Elliott Hendrickson, SEH Inc. in the amount of $415,715. This also was on last week's agenda, passed unanimously, and I will move to approve item B, awarding the engineering design services for well number 9 for PFAS to SEH not to exceed in the amount of $415,715.
Second. Motion by Dan, seconded by myself. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Item number 11, the Planning Director report. Right ahead. What's that? I can introduce it if you want. Yeah, okay, that's fine. It's resolution 27-2025 to vacate and discontinue portions of Westwood Lane, Carefree Drive, Holly Drive, Hilltop Drive, and Overhill Drive located in the city of Onalaska, La Crosse County, Wisconsin. Go ahead.
This is tied to the annexation that was recently passed by the city. It's the developer's intention to vacate the areas shown in the map and then reconfigure with new streets to serve the new subdivision. This is the first step in the process.
Okay. I will move to approve.
Second.
Motion by myself to approve, seconded by Mike. Any discussion? Does it have to be a roll call? No? Okay. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Number 12, City Administrator Report. Rick.
Thank you, Chair. It's a little short report this month, mainly because the items I would normally report on are agenda items in this a month's agenda. So we had our staff success day today over at the Dash Center. I thought things went really well. Obviously, it's a day we set aside for professional development, employee appreciation, celebration of all of our accomplishments. So again, I think it was a good success. Not too long ago, I think a week or two ago, Chief Ashbeck held a press conference, as some of you may already know, to showcase the new electric squad cars. Staff and media were in attendance along with a representative from GM, I believe it was. And Chief did a great job explaining the benefits of adding these vehicles to our fleet. And so I thought everything went really well. Our UKG system, we now have a go live date. So this is our new timekeeping system. This kind of corresponds with the BSNA conversion that you've been hearing so much about. We had some things we had to work out with UKG, but now we have a go live date of November 23rd. And so if all goes as planned, staff will start using that for timesheets and requesting time off, so forth and so on. So that will be nice to have that system up and running. So. And just the meetings and events that I was in the last month.
Okay.
Then,
Anybody have questions or comments
sorry.
on the update?
Then the next item under the administrative report is regarding technology improvements for council chambers. Obviously, this has been a conversation that we've had a couple of different times now. So Joe and I did go and have a demonstration of some equipment with AMS. I just wanted to see what kind of technology is out there for us to possibly take a look at. So after having that demonstration, I'm not going to lie, there's some pretty cool stuff out there, and things that I think that will be very helpful when it comes to the issues that we're having here in the council chambers. What we would like to do, we think it's important that the company come in and give all of you a demonstration. Because again, you won't know what you want or what it is that you are maybe even need until they come in and do that. So what we would like to do is set up a time for them to come in and give you a demonstration. We originally were looking at the next council meeting in December. Unfortunately, one individual is coming from the Twin Cities and is not available on that date. So they are proposing December 2nd. So I don't know what that looks like for people's schedule. It's a Tuesday. Is that Board of Public Works as well that day? It is, okay. But yeah, so that is the proposed date. Time can be discussed, of course, but that is kind of the proposal. But again, we think it's important that that they come in and let you use the equipment and see the equipment and so forth. And I'll let Joe add anything more that I've left out.
Yeah, so like Rick was saying, we think it's really important that you guys actually see, touch, and feel this equipment and kind of see what the capabilities are before we start discussing any kind of like going out to RFP and things like that. The demonstration, I would assume, is going to take probably about an hour, which is about what Rick and I spent looking at the equipment. But like he was saying, we're really missing out on some of these key features, like having audio and video that works every single time we want to use it, things like that. Assisted hearing devices. I know a few of you have said, like Larry's been using one for a while now. That system is 10 years old. There's been quite a few different advancements in that in the last couple of years. So, and again, we just want you guys to touch and feel the stuff and see if you think it's something you want to pursue.
I think it's prudent. So you're talking December 2nd, but you do have Board of Public Works. Now your Board of Public Works is already early, so I don't know if we can go an hour beforehand. Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, I don't know if we want to have these people hanging around if the Board of Public Works goes unusually late. So
if there are some alternative dates, we can certainly go back to them and propose some alternative dates. I believe that was the one week that kind of worked well for them. The week of December 9th, that week wasn't the greatest for them. But if there's our schedules here internally in the city, doing it probably in November was going to be a challenge to have staff there as well. So if you have some alternative dates, we can certainly go back to them and propose them and see when they're available to come in.
well, you have the same problem on Wednesday. That meeting is at 5:15. I can make it at 4:15. I don't know, Mike, if you can, and if anybody else can. You cannot, Diane?
Thank you, Chair. And I know right now, room tax is also 4 o'clock that day.
Oh, geez. Okay.
At least by my calendar, unless it's been changed. I guess I would ask for administration to consider maybe doing just for timeliness, maybe another one of your polls to us, give us some dates, times, such. I think you're going to get a lot faster. And on a second note, I don't know what's been done for tonight's meeting, but it's like 75% better for me. I know my spot is a dead spot.
Yeah.
Alderman Ash's is a dead spot for hearing, but I haven't heard Amanda talk yet. So, but I also think it's, it's also her timbre of her voice too. I mean, men versus women, but the podium has been phenomenal for me. I don't know if Alderman Ash,
Yeah.
do you concur that it's much better or not?
50-50.
Well, anything is a plus. So,
Is this something the demonstration, could we put that in the finance and admin meeting on the agenda? Would that fit on that, or, actually make it, and then we could have them go right up front?
There was some discussion about that. There may be some staff that maybe wouldn't come to the demonstration. I didn't ask them, so I'm not trying to speak for them. So that's why we thought maybe of doing it separately outside of it. Plus, in case there are questions that maybe it runs long kind of a thing. So just didn't want to butt up against or go into a meeting and then push things late into the evening is what we were thinking is why
Okay.
doing it separately. What we could do is we could send out, as Alder Wolf had suggested, send out a poll to all of you, get some dates, go back to the company. You know, there isn't a hurry on this, but I know that there is some interest in doing this sooner rather than later. But we can send out a poll, get maybe a number of dates from the council members, and then go back to the company and just find out what works for them based on that.
Okay. Think that would be, yeah, Larry, go ahead.
Yeah, is there a website with this company that we could check out ahead of time?
It's AMS. I don't know what their website is.
So AMS is the local company that actually sells and installs this system, but I can definitely get you guys a few different examples. I know that Corpus Christi, Texas just did a complete revamp of their council chambers, so I can send you some links to some just short videos that they have. I actually went and watched on YouTube some of their meetings just to see how much more fluid they are. Like if Diane is talking, it would show Diane's face up on the screen.
Oh, gosh.
Not just,
be
you know,
tough.
not just the, 40-foot shot of
Yeah.
everyone sitting up here where you can't tell who's talking. It actually will show the person.
My understanding is that does work. It's just, we don't have a
It does,
body.
But you really.
We need a body.
You can't necessarily tell who's talking, where
Right.
this system would have cameras that would actually like go to whoever is talking and zoom in, so you can actually like be more present in the meeting if you're remote.
I mean, if you look at the Onalaska School District, they have bodies manning, sometimes, a lot of times they have students as interns manning the goings on and such.
Correct.
But yeah, they do zoom in, so you know which building person you're listening to and such. So, it is nice. I mean, sometimes there are people who might have trouble understanding someone, they could lip read.
Correct.
So I mean, I think there's a whole lot to consider. I'm just excited about the prospect because it seems like no matter how often we might update, we're just always behind. And right now, I think we're just the most behind we've been, and I'm certainly looking forward to a better system. Thank you.
Yes, go ahead.
So I just want to add, like, the system that we looked at is the same system that like the UN uses. It's the same system that a lot of European countries have been using for years. And the US is just a little bit further behind on implementing things of this nature. So want to throw that out there too.
Okay. I don't know if the UN's a great endorsement, but all right.
In this dream scenario, what's you looking at as far as price wise?
We don't have an exact price yet because it kind of depends on how far we want to go into this system. I just want to know if we are just gonna use the amount that was approved in the CIP and try to Band-Aid the audio, or if we are gonna try to do something that's a complete fix of the entire system.
Thank you.
I suspect we'd probably want options.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mhm. And that's why too, with you being able to use the equipment, you'll be able to tell what might be useful for you when you sit up there. Or maybe there's something where you decide is not something that's going to be helpful. So, yeah, having options by looking at the equipment will be helpful.
Yeah.
So I will get out the poll to, regarding dates, and then we will get back to you when we have more.
Right, thank you. And then the last item under administrative report is Staff Success Day. Again, obviously, we just had that today. The reason I put this on here is that each time after we do Staff Success Day, we always ask staff to give us feedback in regards to how the day went. And one of the reoccurring comments or requests is not to hold the event on Veterans Day. And so I wanted to bring this back and just have a conversation what that looked like. So we've had some conversations with department heads and internally here as to, if not Veterans Day, when might we have it? So we looked at other holidays where the city is not closed, but maybe they're a state and federal holiday, which is what Veterans Day is. But really what we ran into when we talked about those were really any holiday, there could be a situation where somebody has an event or activity outside of
city of Alaska that they might want to go to for celebration or whatever the case might be in remembrance of whatever holiday it happens to be. So after that conversation, then we started looking at maybe some alternative non-holiday dates. And so what I'm proposing for consideration is the second Monday in, first Monday in October, I believe it is just, that's a kind of a neutral date. There aren't any meetings on that particular day. I didn't make sure I said first or second. Okay, sorry, I did, after I said that, I'm like, wait, which one was it? So again, it's a neutral date where there aren't any meetings, there aren't any holidays on that particular date. It's a static date, so it's always the same date every year. So that was at the request of staff and their feedback. The other part, though, I would also mention is, we just had Staff Success Day today. Over the last week and a half, we've had 5 meetings because we're right in the heart of the budget time. And so trying to put the final planning touches on a event the size of Staff Success Day while also trying to get ready for meetings and conversations regarding budgets, it also would make sense from that perspective as well. So I know when this date was originally set, my understanding was it was a specific date was picked on purpose. And so because we closed City Hall on a given day, certainly wanted to get input from council and approval from council before making any changes. So I'm proposing the first Monday in October going forward, starting in 2026 and forward, as the new date for Staff Success Day.
Okay. Is there any, like citywide fees or types of activities from the citizens that have to take place within like plus or 5-minute days of that, plus or minus?
I will let Sabrina answer that one.
Thanks. The water bills do go out typically at the end of September, and they're receiving them at the beginning of October. But the payment due date is the 21st of October. So there would be plenty of time between, the first Monday and the 21st to get here to make your water bill payment. Or they could always put it in the Dropbox. We do have 2 of them, one right at the door and then the one in the parking lot. And we do have the option to pay online.
Is Monday any busier than other days?
Nothing I'm aware of, but I'll let any department head chime in if they feel that is. We did have a conversation at a huddle on this topic, and nobody brought up any concerns that a Monday was going to be any concern. So
So usually a busier mail day for receipt, because typically we would have mail from the weekend and then mail from that day. But other than that, for the clerk and finance suite, that would be the biggest thing.
Does this need a vote? Because it would end up closing.
I would be asking for a vote on this
Okay.
because it does close City Hall. So I would vote for council.
First Monday in October.
Correct.
Okay, I will move to establish future staff success days on the first Mondays in October.
So, well, Amanda's got some.
Okay, motion by myself, seconded by Larry. We'll start with Kathy and then I'll go to you, Amanda.
Just a quick note, I was looking at years ahead, in 2028, that Monday lies on the first business day of the month. Does that matter for financial stuff? Or, okay.
Nah, it shouldn't. I say that precautionary,
I mean,
like-
it's 3 years from now.
yeah. Just, it depends on the week. If it's a payroll week, it does affect, my staff being able to go, but that's just a small group of individuals for the whole city, so.
Sure. Okay.
Amanda, did you have something?
That is a municipal court day, which means that we will have initial appearances in City Hall that day. So that would just be a hiccup, I guess we would have to probably work through, because that's not something we typically cancel.
Sabrina.
And to follow up on that, when we do have court, it is very busy because people are coming in and making their payments. Good call. I did not think about that.
Rick, do we need to rethink this then, or?
I would, based on that, I would like to have some further conversation about other dates that might be more applicable, whether it be the second, Monday or something like that. But again, I guess I would like to have some further conversation in light of knowing that that's going to be a court day. Because I do agree. I mean, my office faces the parking lot, and parking lot is always full on court day. So
The second Monday would be fine.
it would. Okay.
Is that what you want to go with? I'll amend.
I'm a perfectly fine. I would just ask any department head who thinks that the second Monday in October would be problematic for any reason to please speak up. So
Is that Indigenous Peoples' Day? No?
first.
I'd worry about for the fire department is Fire Prevention Week, generally.
Yeah, it looks like that.
It's also the day before council, so like that is like D-Day for finance,
It's also,
especially if it's a payroll week too.
it's also Indigenous Persons Day next year.
So maybe.
What about like the first Friday of the month? Is Friday problematic?
Based on the things that are being talked about, I think it's best if maybe we go back and have some further conversation and come back with a date that, because I'm afraid right now, if we try and pick a date that's alternative, that we might think of something after the fact. So maybe we go back and have some further conversation regarding what might work and then come back with some recommendation.
So we do have a motion and a second. Can we withdraw those or do we need to just vote it?
If you both just withdraw, I think that's fine.
Okay, I'll withdraw my motion. Withdraw second.
Seconded.
I will throw a second.
Okay, all right.
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay, next is items 13, 14, 15, closed session items. Discussion of, first one, discussion of possible action on Darlene Hanson v. City of Onalaska, 2025 CV 184. Common council may convene in closed session under section 19.85, sub 1, sub G of the Wisconsin State Statutes for the purpose of conferring with legal counsel for the governmental body who is rendering oral or written advice concerning strategy to be adopted by the body with respect to litigation in which it is or is likely to become involved. The council may reconvene in open session to take the necessary action and or continue with the printed agenda. Item number 14, discussion and possible action on Coronado Circle conditions of approval. The common council may convene in closed session under section 19.85 sub 1 sub G of the Wisconsin State Statutes for the purpose of conferring with legal counsel for the governmental body who is rendering oral or written advice concerning strategy to be adopted by the body with respect to litigation in which it is or is likely to become involved. The council may reconvene in open session to take the necessary action and or continue with the printed agenda. And item number 15, discussion and possible action on annual review of the city administrator. Common council may convene in closed session under section 19.85 sub 1 sub C of the Wisconsin State Statutes for the purpose of employment, promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation data of any public employee over which the governmental body has jurisdiction or exercises responsibility. Council may reconvene in open session to take the necessary action and or continue with the printed agenda. If no action is taken, the council may adjourn from the closed session. Unless somebody has an argument otherwise, I'd like to entertain a motion to go into closed session for all three items.
I'll make a motion and we go into closed session for items 13, 14, and 15.
Second.
Hey, motion made by Larry, seconded by Mike. Any discussion? Okay. This is by roll call, correct?
Jim Benash,
Aye.
Kathy Loendorf,
Aye.
Stephen Knott,
Aye.
Mike Milky,
Aye.
Larry Jurassic,
Aye.
Diane Wolf. Aye.
And we are in closed session. The time is 8 PM.
8:50.